Tom wrote a book, and he wants you all to buy it. The name of the book is The Djinn Chronicles Volume 1 Growth. It's part 1 of a trilogy. It's available on Amazon. Go read it.
Don't forget to subscribe for more reviews. Please also like. Thank you.
Hello there everyone, Tom here again, and today we have the privilege of taking a look at the Dr. Wu. This is their Destroy Emperor and Monitor Officer. So, yep, that's this guy. So let's open him up if we can. Get in here. Take us a look and see what we got. Nice little product shot right there on the back. Setting it aside, we get the figures here. Alright, we'll set those aside for the moment. We get 2 collector cards. These feel like laminated plastic. Or, I'm sorry, laminated, just cardstock. It's not thick at all. And that stuff. We get this thing right here, which is apparently directions for Galvatron. And my guess would be this would be the directions for Soundblaster. And I would be correct. Okay. So, taking a look at these guys here. A little bit more light on them, if it's to where it can. And zoom in here. Oh, maybe a little bit too much. There we go. Alright, first thing I want to get out of the bat is the size of these things. Because we were, if you're like me, you were thinking they were just teeny tiny. This guy's measuring in at just a little over 2 inches. And I mean just a little, maybe 2 1/4. Shoulder to shoulder, we're looking at 1 1/4 inches. Depth wise, the feet are the biggest part. There you go, 1/2 inch. Galvatron is the same size. Yeah, he's just a tinge taller. He's 2 3/8. Shoulder to shoulder, we're getting 1 1/4 inches. With the cannon, we're getting a little better than 1.5 inches, almost 1 3/4 inches. Depth wise, we're going to have to eyeball this. He's still about 1/2 inch. So these things are small. They are small. And I know we're going to do scale comparison and all that, but I want to give you perspective just how small these things are. Here is a standard Hasbro Headmaster, Titan Master, whatever you want to call him. So, yeah. And here it is with one of those micro mini mott thingies. Just perspective. Perspective is important. Okay. So, why don't we take us a look here and see what kind of details we get. So, right off the bat, you gonna focus for me? You gonna focus for me? Alright, so right off the bat, you can see there is some beautiful paintwork going on here. I don't know if I've got a Decepticon symbol that small or not, but we'll see. That is crisp, clean line work on that paint right there. I mean, that should tell you that's the pin house, the size of this thing. The paint is beautiful. The head is silver. I'm surprised they didn't put a little paint in there, because honestly I think they probably could have. The back cleans up fairly well. This is paint. Everything else is plastic, gunmetal paint. Yeah, this little guy's very nice. Articulation, this thing right here moves, and it comes off if that's important. I'm going to set it aside just for right now, just so that we can focus on the figure. The head is on a ball joint. You can see the joint right there, hopefully. So yeah, it'll go all the way around without any trouble. You don't really get anything down, but you obviously can look up. Shoulders also are on those ball joints, you can see right there. And they have a hinge joint, so he can go whee, and he can go all the way around with them, and back. So he's got that reverse butterfly thing going on. Single pinned elbow gets you 90 degrees. The hands are stationary. He has no waist wiggle. No, it's on a mushroom peg. You can see it right there. So he's not going to get an ab crunch, but he can get it at the hip. He's got flaps right here, folks. These things are flaps. Look at that. Can you all see that? Can you see that? That's a flap. Look at the difference. Can you all see the difference there? Leg goes all the way back that far. Can only go that far forward. T-jointed ball joints get you that far that way. We have a little bit of a thigh rotation right here at the joint itself. 90-degree knee bend. The foot can go up that far, down that far, and he does have a rocker that goes out this way and this way. That's because it's on a ball joint as well. He also has this additional hinge here, which is a transformation hinge, but yeah, there you go. Yeah, so that is Soundblaster, or what do they call him? Monitor. This is Monitor. Okay. Putting this little weapon back on. I don't know if you all noticed this or not. There is a line, red line right there, that is painted. Could probably use a stand another coat, but that's okay. Moving on to Emperor, Destroy Emperor here. We get Galvatron. And as you can see, he has some nice paint on him. I love the silver face. I love the eyes. And this black is painted. More of a gunmetal. I don't know what the initial color of the plastic was. I don't know. Anyway, we get red here and red on down. And it looks like I've got a little bit of paint bleed right there. Or is that supposed to be there? I don't know. Nope, that was not supposed to be there. Alright, so now it's all nice and crisp and clean. He's got the tank treads right here. Coming on down the figure. We get some pretty gunmetal paint here and on the feet. A little red on the inside. If I didn't know better, I'd say this was painted. I wonder what the base color of this is, because I'm pretty sure it's not orange. Oh, that pops out. So it's white on the inside. Okay, well, now we know. Alright, taking that off for now, just to get some sense of what's going on with him. The head. He's a very different sculpt from Soundblaster. The head, does it move? Yeah, just not happily. That must be a mushroom peg in there. But it did turn all the way around. That is as far as his arms will go out. We do get all the way around on a double jointed elbow right here. I don't see any, there's no wrist articulation, and everything's based around that ball joint right there. No ab crunch. I mean, it's a solid piece, but he does get full down with the hips, and he can go all the way back with the legs, so he can definitely do the American splits. And since it's T-jointed ball joints, these do not move. They're solid. He's not going to completely do the Chinese. That's okay. Thigh swivel is built around that mushroom, I'm sorry, the T-jointed ball joint. Legs, the knees can bend all the way. Again, ball joint. And there is no foot articulation. It is what it is. Tell you what, why don't we put scale comparison to bed. Oh, and he has a waist rotation here. I don't know if I called that or not. Why don't we go ahead and put scale comparison to bed, and then I'll transform them, and then we can go into final thoughts. So having read the directions, old Soundwave here, I'm sorry, Soundblaster, doesn't seem too difficult to transform. First thing we do is we remove this and we put it on the back here. There's a peg for it. It goes on just like that. Turn the head around. You don't have to turn the head around, but aesthetically I think it's going to make more sense. That way he's not staring up at you. Take the elbows here, and they're on this sliding joint. Don't know if you all can actually see that little cut right there. It just goes in, comes around on both sides, just like this, and we've got the core part of it. The legs do just like you would expect them to. They come up, rotate around, and they're going to peg in. When you get them right, there's a peg hole right there and a peg right there. It just comes in on both sides like this. Now the feet, rotate them, and there is a notch right there. It's going to plug into that little peg right there. Just like that. Hear that snap? And that's Soundwave. Obviously I've gone ahead and I've put the Decepticon symbol on him. I got this from a Toy Hack sticker set, one of the previous ones I'd already had. So in this mode he measures in at 1.25 inches by 3/4 by These should plug in. There's a spot there for them to do so. And of course, it's not, I mean, can you all see that peg right there? Goes into that little port right there. It's just a matter of getting it lined up proper. There we go. So now we're looking at about a little better than 1/2 inch. He's wee. He's tiny. He's tiny. A comparison to Galvatron untransformed, just to give you perspective there. Why don't we transform Galvatron and then we'll do scale comparisons. Alright, so to transform old Galvatron here, or Emperor Destruction, or whatever, Destroy Emperor, first thing we do is we take this off, we come back here according to the directions, and we lift this up. And this is apparently on a slider if the directions are to be believed. Yep, apparently it is. Head goes all the way down in there like that. Okay. Now, the directions say... Alright, there's a peg right there you can see. It's going to go into this slot right here. So this is going to need to rotate around and come up. And I don't know if I can get this on camera. It's going to need to peg into this peg hole right there. And of course it's being persnickety, but I got it. It's in there. Okay. Let's do that again. Let's see, we need to rotate this way. Pull it up. And if we do it right, and then these two have pins and pegs. Go like that. Take your elbow, double jointed, bring it together like this, so that he's got treads the way he's supposed to. Apparently these do not lock in according to the directions. And we come here and there is a slot right there. It's going to peg on right there for his cannon. And the directions don't show this thing in here anywhere, so I'm not really sure what to do about it. And here is Galvatron in his space cannon mode. In this mode, he's coming in at right about 3 inches, shoulder to shoulder, and there's not really that much of a change. Inch and 3/8. Height-wise, about 1.5 inches. Now, here he is. Here Soundwave is, to give you perspective, and here is the Titan Master. So yeah, these things are small. They're smaller than the well, what do you call them? These things. They're smaller than these things, or perhaps they're right in scale with them. I don't know. They got lots of paint and stuff like that. So yeah, scale comparison, final thoughts.
Do 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 do.
Do 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 do. Holy crap! It's like a Galvatron I can put in my pocket, and finally I'm in focus. But realistically, who would want a Galvatron in your pocket? He'd get all squishy. What? No. No, Tom! No, Tom! Ah! Ah! Whew, the things we do. Anyway, as you know, there are basically 4 things that I look for in Transformers when I'm doing a review. Playability, materials, cost, and I ask myself the question, if this was my first Transformer, would I ever buy another one? Now, the playability of these things is limited, primarily only because of the size. Honestly, I'm really looking forward to seeing how these things scale with the HasLab Unicron. I think this Galvatron is going to look really good in his hand. I don't know, we'll see. I do kind of like how the fact that Galvatron is larger than Soundblaster, but I digress. The materials feel good. The plastic quality is okay. Honestly, they remind me a whole lot of like the old Headmasters, the older ones. They've got kind of similar. Honestly, they've got a similar feel quality. This is the that's the one for Carrie, the Weapon Master for Carrie, and they have a similar plastic feel to this, if that makes any sense. The paint on them is very nice. I do think that transforming them for an extended period, flipping them back and forth, is going to cause some problems in the long run. So that is something to take into account. The cost, these things are $34 at TF Source as of the time of this recording. That seems to be $18, well, $17 each. I think that's a bit excessive for what we're getting here. Realistically, the paint quality is great. They both transform. The plastic quality feels good. I think the cost of the figure is not quite that. Now, that's my personal opinion. And to be fair, I have never sat down and designed a figure, so I don't know. I know there's a lot that goes on. It's very involved, producing something from a concept. So maybe it's a fair price. I just think it seems, how does Skullface say it? The juice I don't think here is worth the squeeze. They're fine. If this was my first Transformer, I would be very apprehensive, and I would be very cautious about buying Transformers for this price. I have to also point out here, this is my Galvatron, my Legend scale, slightly larger than Legend scale Galvatron, and I paid, I think he was $15. He's a Mick Fans Toys, and he feels fine. Now, obviously, just looking at him real quick, you can tell this guy is purple, this guy is a blue. So we've immediately got two different things going on here. Do I recommend these? I'm really looking forward to seeing what Galvatron looks like in the finger of Unicron. So if that's your thing, yeah, absolutely. But these things are so tiny. You are going to lose parts off of them if you're not careful. Especially this little bit right here on Soundblaster. If it goes, it's gone. There's no finding it, and there's probably never going to be a replacement part for it. If you are going to put these somewhere and never bother them, yes, I recommend them. If you're going to put them on a shelf and never mix them in with a box of stuff, yes, I recommend them. If you just want them to be a completist, yes, I recommend them. If you intend to play with them on a regular basis, I can't. I just can't. This is Tom. Thanks for watching. I'll see you at the next review.
And thank you for watching my Papa's channel. Please subscribe and like. Thank you.
Excuse me, can I have some Vitamin-John, please?
Sure.
Yum, 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 yum. Poof! Holy crap!
Another satisfied customer of Vitamin John.
You need to sell this stuff.
Operators are standing by. Go now!